Last week, we took a look at coins 11 through 20 from the 1892 to 1954 United States Silver Commemorative Series. And in this episode, we're going to cover the next 21 of 30 out of 50, so stay tuned for episode 3. What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to another edition of the Silver and Gold Stack Attack, specifically episode number 3 of the U.S. Silver Commemorative Series. As always, I can't thank you enough for stopping by and checking out the video today. And if you'd like to help support this channel, then why not throw a jab at that thumbs up button, scribble out a comment below, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. All that helps promote the channel, and it's free of charge, I promise. And don't forget to hit that bell so you know when the next video drops. I really appreciate everyone's support. It's been awesome. Alright. As you can see, the new decal board is up, and if you're not on here, you need to get on here. My address is in the description of every video. If you'd like to have your decal put up on the board, just drop me a line, let me know. I'll be happy to send one out to you. Just a quick note on this episode series. First one did pretty good, second one not so great with the views, and these do take a lot of time to put together, so I actually consider not finishing the series. But the more I thought about it, the more I recognized the fact that I can't stand not finishing anything, so I'm committing to completing all 50 coins, regardless of how many hits the videos get. Call it the completist in me, I guess. Not finishing would have annoyed me as much as watching my favorite YouTube stacking videos while experiencing a bad internet connection. Are we back? What the was that? Oh yeah, something like that. Anyway, last week we went over coins 11 through 20, and today we're going to hit 21 to 30. So, if you missed episodes 1 and 2 of the series, be sure to check them out to get up to speed. And just as a reminder, each coin chronicles a key moment or person in United States history, and the series remains in high demand to this day. You can usually find amazing artwork from famous engravers and some really limited mintages that add to the collectability of the set. And of course, these coins are going to have a 90% silver and 10% copper mix. And in all, as I mentioned earlier, there are 50 of them. So that being said, let's get to them. All right, let's kick it off with the 1934 Maryland Tercentenary. This one had a mintage of 25,015, and the actual silver weight was 0.3617 ounces. This one was minted to commemorate the 300th anniversary of the founding of the Maryland colony. And the profits from the sales of the coin were actually used to help finance the celebration in Baltimore in 1934. Now, on the reverse, we see Cecil Calvert, a.k.a. Lord Baltimore. And on the reverse is the Arms of Maryland. The design was done by Hans Schuler, and this coin currently sells on the secondary anywhere from $120 to $250, depending on condition. And next up is the 1934 to 1938 Texas Independent Centennial. Mintage varies on this one, and it's got the typical silver weight. This one is another one of my absolute favorites in this series. It was issued to commemorate the year Texas claimed its independence in 1836. The obverse has the Star of Texas, of course, along with a highly detailed eagle, and the reverse, which, in my opinion, is one of the best in the series. I mean, this is a really sweet design with a kneeling figure of Winged Victory and portraits of Sam Houston and Stephen Austin on either side, who were the founders of the Republic and state of Texas. And if you look closely, you can see the Alamo on the bottom right. This coin has about 13 variations, but a common version will probably sell in the secondary anywhere from $135 to $300, depending on condition. Next up, 1934 to 1938 Daniel Boone Bicentennial. This one was first minted in 1934 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Daniel Boone's birth. Now, the 1934 version didn't have a date on it, but that was changed in 1935 when the date was added above the Pioneer Year text on the right. Now, the obverse depicts a portrait of Daniel Boone, and the reverse shows Boone with Blackfish, who was the war chief of the Chillicothe band of the Shawnee tribe. Now, like the Texas coin, this one had several variations, but a common base coin will usually sell in the secondary anywhere from somewhere in the realm of $120 to $250, depending on condition. Moving on to 1935's Connecticut Tercentenary. This one had a mintage, really low mintage, of 25,018 with a typical silver weight. And it marked the 300th anniversary of the founding of the colony in Connecticut. Now, the obverse shows a fairly unremarkable eagle, and the reverse depicts a representation of the famous charter oak tree. Now, if you're not familiar with the charter oak, here's a really quick synopsis. Back in 1662, the colony of Connecticut was basically owned and governed by England, but they were granted a royal charter by King Charles II, and that charter basically allowed the colony to set some of its own laws and elect its own officials. However, James II ascended to the throne in 1685, and he was kind of a jerk, so he decided he wanted to revoke the charter. According to legend, the colonists supposedly hid the charter in the tree during James II's reign, and when he was overthrown in 1688, the colonists reproduced the charter, and the colony continued under its protection. It was basically the ultimate here you go, bite me scenario, if there's any truth to it. So regardless of hidden charters and deposed tyrant kings, this coin will sell anywhere from 200 to 500, depending on condition. Next, the 1935 to 1939 Arkansas Centennial. This one had a varied mintage and a typical silver weight. This souvenir coin basically celebrated the 100th anniversary of the admission of Arkansas into the Union. It was issued in 1935 despite the actual centennial not being official until 1936. The obverse displays a really nicely detailed eagle design, and the reverse shows the head of an American girl and a Native American chief. A new reverse was issued in 1936, and it was a portrait of Senator Joseph Robinson, who was still living at the time the coin was issued, with his likeness. Now, there's been some debate as to which sides of this coin are actually the obverse and reverse, but it's irrelevant in the end. You can expect to find this one on the secondary anywhere from 100 to 300 for both versions, depending on condition. Got a good one here, the 1935 Hudson, New York Sesquicentennial. Insanely low mintage of 10,008, typical silver weight. This is another souvenir coin, and it celebrated the 150th anniversary of the founding of Hudson, New York, and it was named after explorer Henry Hudson. Now, the obverse features Hudson's ship, the Half Moon, while the reverse shows the seal of the city of Hudson. And if you scope out that seal, you can see Neptune and his trident on a whale, and a mermaid in the background. This reverse design was supposed to be an homage to Hudson's heritage as a whaling port, even though it's a pretty good distance up the river to the ocean. Now, there was some controversy with this coin, as two coin retailers allegedly bought up damn near the whole supply, which left some would-be collectors out in the cold. It got worse as those same retailers put the coins up for sale for 5 to 6 times their worth. With this one being a low mint run and the story behind it generating a ton of interest, you're going to see it sell as one of the more expensive coins in the entire series. You can find this one on the secondary anywhere from 600 to 1,200, depending on condition. Now we're up to the 1935-1936 California Pacific International Expo. This one had 2 years of mintage, 1935, and that one had a run of 70,132, and 1936, which had a mint run of 30,092. This coin was approved by Congress for issue as a souvenir $50 for the exposition that took place on May 3rd, 1935. Now, there are actually two versions issued, one in 35 and one in 36. The 35 was minted at the San Francisco Mint, and the 36 was minted in Denver. Now, the obverse allegedly features the female warrior Minerva with her shield and a bear, although it's never really stated who she is. The reverse shows the California Tower and the Chapel of St. Francis in Balboa Park, San Diego. Unfortunately, sales for this one went pretty badly, and many of the 35s were sent back for a restrike in 1936. The gamble didn't work as sales stunk up the joint. Now, you can expect to see the 35 sell for about 95 to 170, and the 36, which was far more limited, for around 100 to 200, depending on condition. Oddly enough, a near pristine 1935 sold for damn near $5,000 in 2014. It's crazy. Now we're up to another really limited coin. This is the 1935 Old Spanish Trail, and it was minted for the 400th anniversary of Spanish New World explorer Alvar Núñez Cabeza de Vaca, his expedition through the Gulf states for 8 years, from 1527 to 1535. I mean, this journey was a regular Forrest Gump movie with one adventure and hazard right after another. And de Vaca would end up being only one of 4 to survive the trek. He would return to Spain in 1537 to write a book about the journey. Unfortunately, de Vaca's name is quite literally translated to head of cow. He didn't catch hell in school. And that became the obverse designed by L.W. Hofecker. The reverse shows a yucca tree and a crude map of the old Spanish Trail. Now, as noted earlier, this coin was an extremely limited run, and it'll set you back anywhere from 1,000 to 1,500 depending on condition. Obviously, more worn out versions will go for a little bit less. A coin from my home state of Rhode Island. This mintage varied and had a typical silver weight, and it commemorated the 300th anniversary of Roger Williams' founding of Providence. The obverse shows Roger in a canoe being greeted by the Native American, and the reverse shows the Anchor of Hope with a shield on the background. These coins can be found both from the San Francisco and Denver mints, so you'll have to check. I have to say that I was pretty stoked to find out that a Rhode Island coin was issued in this series until I took a closer look at the artwork. Look, I hate to criticize anything, but it's not very good, to be honest. It's almost cartoonish. Now, the design element was fantastic. I just think the execution was terrible. But despite my misgivings, which count for absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of this coin, you can find it on the secondary anywhere from $90 to $200 depending on condition. And we're up to the last coin of this video. This is the 1936 Cleveland Centennial / Great Lakes Expo coin. It celebrated the centennial of, obviously, Cleveland, Ohio, at the Great Lakes Exposition held there in 1936. Oddly enough, half of the mintage was struck in 1937, even though all the coins had a 1936 date on them. The obverse displays a portrait of Moses Cleveland, and the reverse shows a map of the Great Lakes region with a compass pointing at the city of Cleveland. This one currently sells on the secondary anywhere from $90 to $190, depending on condition. And there you have it. We've now gone over the first 30 coins in the U.S. Silver Commemorative Series. Again, be sure to check out episodes 1 and 2 if you haven't seen them already. And as I said earlier, I'm breaking the series down into 5 videos for the silver versions from 1892 to 1954. And if I have time, I'll make a separate one for the gold versions. And that is going to wrap it up for this episode of the Silver and Gold Stack Attack. And if you made it this far, kudos to you. I will definitely catch up with you in the next episode. But in the meantime, you know what we're doing. You know where we're going. You know the mission. Damn right. Get stacked. Stay safe and be well, everyone. I am out of here. Peace, people.